I went to I can't believe I haven't talked about this. I meant to talk about this on the podcast ever since I started. I was going to talk into it, but this is one of the reasons I didn't forget about it. It's just the special went so well after it that I started thinking about the special a lot. But I met Eminem. We hung out for 2 hours, and it was fucking unbelievable. Yeah, you don't know this. So yeah, dude, my agents and him their people were going back and forth, and they were like, Chris is going to be in Detroit. Does M want to come to the show? And they were like, yeah, definitely. And then they were in New York, and so they were like, why don't Chris just come by the studio when we land? So they were in the studio, and Mike Lenoci and Zach are like, I was always a huge Eminem fan growing up. I mean, all that shit. But Eminem was Mike's idol, and still is. And so Mike's like, oh my God, I talk about it all week. So annoying. I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't have invited you. He's like, I'll be fine. So we get there, and Zach and we get in there, and we show up, and Eminem's just sitting there. Like, come on in. They come on in, and then we walk into the room, and Eminem's sitting there, and Eminem stands up and goes like this, flapping around like a bumpkin to me, and I'm like, okay, this is the craziest fucking thing already. He's doing my impression to me of him. And he was like, what's up, man? And then we sat down, and I'm sitting on the same couch as Eminem, and we're all talking. And he was like, man, you killed that impression, man. It was so funny. He was like, it was amazing. And the one in the garage where you're out of breath, dude, that's hilarious. He's like, because I get out of breath sometimes. I was just like, it was so mind-blowing. And let me just say this about him. I sat with him for 2 hours. And in like 35 minutes in, I did the obligatory kind of like nice guy, like, well, we don't want to take up too much of your time, like so. And he was literally like, nah, we're just chilling, hang out. It's like, all right, I said my fucking piece. So we were hanging out, and he was talking about hip hop, talking about rap. We wanted to obviously. I want to do less of the talking if I'm sitting with Eminem. I want him to do most of the talking, and he was just in the best way. In the best way, he was just the most normal, cool guy. You don't know, these fucking icons, these legends, you meet them, and sometimes they have this air where it's like, you're lucky to be here. Dude, it didn't feel that way at all, and it was so cool and refreshing. He was just a real mature, kind of cool dude, talked a lot about hip-hop, talked a lot about who his favorite rappers were, and we talked about comedy a lot. We talked about different comedians. We talked about my act, what I'm talking about, and it was just a trip, man. But he mentioned a bunch of his favorite rappers. He mentioned, he mentioned Tupac and Biggie and Jay-Z and all those guys. But man, it was, I don't even know what to say, dude. I kept thinking about it the next day. It was just so cool. And then they were like, well, let's get a picture. And we got a picture, and I posted it to Instagram. And I was like, dude, it's one thing to fucking do this thing in my driveway and make this video, and then it went viral, and it's another thing for you to share it and tweet it, and it's another thing for you to put me on the song. I was like, but this is so cool, and it was just so nice of you to have us come in, man. It really means a lot, and I've always been such a big fan of yours. And he was like, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, it's so fucking weird, man. Like, I mean, I meet everybody. I meet everybody. I mean, I've met fucking everybody. I've met Jim Carrey. I've met fucking all the, that was my idol when I was a kid, Jim Carrey. And it's just like, it's a trip, man, to meet. It's kind of a trip to meet somebody too out of the, like, I don't really care about music, but I know a lot about hip hop, and I love hip hop. And it was cool to meet him because I've listened to his music so fucking much, man. So shout out to everyone who made that happen. Tracy over there too, that was kind of dealing with everything. That was Tracy was so sweet, and all the other guys that were over there too. His tour manager, and then this other producer was there too, and Mike Lenoci and Zach Duncovia was there. So what else happened? What else was he? There was one part where he was like talking about somebody that was like talking shit about him, and he was talking to us in conversation, and Eminem was like, you don't even know what I'm doing when I'm rapping we don't even know what I'm doing when I'm rapping. I'm using syllables, intricate, and he started rapping in the middle of while he was talking to us, and it was fucking unbelievable, dude. I was like on the couch with this guy, and he's rapping talking to me, rapping, telling me something in a rap, and it all made sense. It was fucking insane. It was imagine that, dude, being on the same couch as Eminem and he's doing that shit. I was like, what this life I have, this fucking career that I've built out of fucking making dick jokes and, you know what I mean? Just being silly and having a silly goose time, dude. And telling you motherfuckers life rips. And now I'm sitting on the couch with fucking Eminem and he's rapping to me. And he didn't even know that in the Sprinter van on the way from fucking Pennsylvania to Detroit that I drank so much coffee we had to pull over to the side of the road that I had to shit in someone's yard. He didn't even know that. And yes, that happened a week ago.